never take away the opportunity for people to give. In my younger years, I say, okay, this person seems like they don't have a lot. I'm gonna not approach them and ask them because they probably will feel uncomfortable and might feel obligated to give because I'm asking. But I've learned that despite if they have little or if they're going through a lot of struggles, you do not strip that person away from that opportunity to give. Because often what I find, those people are the one that will willing to give the most.
Once again in 2013, DAS associates went to spend a few hours talking, eating lunch, and playing kickball with the Aaron's Acres kids. Everyone especially loves the time we spend with the kids at the camp. Helping Hands gave DAS associates the opportunity to serve our neighbors and fellow associates with outdoor renovations of their yard, trimming shrubs, and weeding. The people were amazed by the work we got done. When DAS associates went to Ronald McDonald House, the residents were surprised by the quality and abundance of the food we made. Some of our associates have a real passion for cooking and serving, and it truly shines through at Ronald McDonald House. The residents of a few local retirement homes loved it when we came out to visit with them. We played bingo, sat and talked, and served up some delicious ice cream for all who came. In November, DAS picked 10 associates at random from all the associates that participated in the program and sent them over to Vietnam. That's right, an all-expense-paid trip to the beautiful country of Vietnam. These 10 associates were able to see and participate in many work projects and see just what Brittany's Hope does. It was truly a life changer for all that had the privilege to go.
Having an opportunity to take a team of 12 people from DAS, 14 people from DAS to go over there and just physically share with them, look, this is where your hard work, this is where the funds from DAS is doing to these children. It's changing, saving lives. So I was just over the moon with that opportunity. I never in a million years thought that the staff from DAS would join us.
I wasn't sure if I was really the right person to go. I know a lot of other people and my company wanted to go, and I feel like they could have done a lot of stuff. And until I really got thinking about it and decided to take a guitar and go play music, that's when it kind of got it.
Brittany's Hope recognizes all people, regardless of background or affiliation. It's the recognition of the human. The person has value, the value of their life, and that's the gift that I took away with the trip that I was on to Vietnam.
The Blind Center was the first stop on our trip. Our group was treated to an awesome music program when we arrived, and afterwards spent time visiting with the kids. These kids are truly amazing. Our work project there had us painting walls, installing new gates, and cleaning up the area.
The first day we arrived was on Sunday. As a group, we were going to a center for the blind, or children who have visual impairment or are completely blind. And one of their strengths they have is learning music and playing instruments that are native to Vietnam. And there was a young man who did a presentation, a song. He sang a song about a father, and it just meant a lot to him. I believe he wrote the song. And later after his presentation, I went up to him and he realized I wanted to play along with him. And I did that, and he wanted to show me a song that he had written, and we played a little bit together, and that was amazing.
First day we got off the bus, and the sister said, the big guy, that's what I was called, because I'm a little bit bigger than everybody that was there. The kids came over, and there was one kid in particular, he was very adamant about me having a baby in my stomach. He would press on my stomach and make a crying noise every time he saw me.
It was amazing how those kids got around and learning the instruments, not being able to see, and some of them I guess were even deaf. They just how they could play the music, and they were actually really good. It really amazed me.
I got a little bit emotional when they started singing "You Raise Me Up." That kind of, touched the home, and it made me cry.
The kids were so much fun to be with. The program that they put on was wonderful. I enjoyed their music. I could have sat there all day and listened to their music, especially some of those instruments that I'd never seen before and how they could play them so well.
Mylene came up to me and she said, this boy T is over here. He's 18 and he doesn't really have anybody to talk to. Would you mind going to talk to him? And so I said, yeah. So her and I went over and we talked back and forth using her as the medium. And she said something to him and I didn't understand. It was in Vietnamese. And he shakes his head and smiles and she gets up and she's like, all right, go get your guitar. I was like, what'd you say? And she said, well, I asked him if he had any interest in learning how to play. So he seemed really excited about it. So I got to spend a lot of time with him the rest of that day. I mean, we probably sat for like an hour and a half. And I taught him 2 chords. He picked it up really, really fast. And as soon as that happened, and as soon as when Mylene was telling me about, he's the oldest, he's in 5th grade, he doesn't really have anybody to talk to. The kids kind of make fun of him because of his age and what year in school he is. I kind of realized that having music would be a really, really good thing for him to kind of grow socially. After hearing all that and then having him play for me, like showing him how to play a little bit and picking it up so fast, it was kind of there. I knew that he was the kid that I was going to give that guitar away to. Mylene told him that we were going to give him the guitar and he was awestruck. He couldn't speak. He had no words, and neither did I. I didn't know what to say. It was very, very emotional.
The House of Love is the first location Brittany's hope started in Vietnam. Now the House of Love serves over 30 children, ranging in age from under a year old to a few kids now in university. Once again, some of our associates went along and actually got to meet the children they sponsor there. It was so heartwarming to see what DAS is doing for these kids. It's hard to imagine where these kids would be if not for Brittany's hope in the House of Love.
Yeah, House of Love was wonderful. The kids greeted us like Santa had just come.
I think the kids, that was, to me, was the best part. They just loved to be around you and wanting your attention.
Having to leave the House of Love was the most heartbreaking, I think, because I bonded with a lot of the kids there, and just knowing that I had to come home, it broke my heart. I cried when we started leaving, and the one boy made fun of me on the outside of the bus for crying, Kim and I both for crying. And then the one was the little guy that I carried around on my shoulders was crying because they shut the door and he couldn't come along.
The group from DAS had a few opportunities to work alongside some local residents to help them rebuild their homes that had been destroyed by storms in the past. In spite of the language barrier, everyone worked well together and made some lifelong friendships.
The memory that sticks out the most is just the openness that the families had. They had very little, but yet they opened their houses. You take yourself back and you're looking and you're like, wow, they have very little, but they're opening everything they have just to have us there, and they're thankful for us being there.
We watched all the neighbors come and donate stuff for us all to help them out, and sat there and watched us, asked if we could go help them work on their place while we helped him work on his place.
Their culture is amazing. The camaraderie between friends and neighbors, I thought was really cool.
We were helping with the filling in their foundation for their building the house that they were going to. Carting the dirt up there with the wheelbarrows.
These people lost everything. I mean, they had nothing. They were living in one room house while the rest of their house was not there.
This woman, we gave her X amount of dollars and she said, this is too much. Can I give it to my neighbors? Can I help my neighbors? They need help as well. I thought that was awesome. That was amazing.
At the vocational center Brittany's Hope sponsors in Vietnam, DAS associates had fun making gingerbread houses with the young adults and celebrating the milestones they've achieved from their training at the center. It was such a heartwarming experience seeing these young adults taking home a machine that'll help to make a living for them and their families.
There were two young men who I realized were communicating with one another, not by their mouth, but with their hands. And I really enjoyed communicating with both of them because I think they were as surprised as much as I was. I do not speak the language of Vietnam, and I don't believe that they speak English. So the common connection we had was American Sign Language, and that was awesome.
They were physically disabled, but you sure couldn't tell it in many ways because they really seemed to manage to excel at what they could do so well that you could almost overlook any physical disability that they had.
I showed them how to pipe the icing onto the gingerbread houses. I kind of showed them how to do the piping. I just let the kids go to town, let them do what they wanted on it.
They did not like the marshmallows at all. So trying to communicate what candy was marshmallow and not to eat, it was a little difficult, but we got it.
There were some children back home here who heard about the trip, and they had made some bracelets for the children over there. And so when we got there, we gave them all these little bracelets. Well, they're so creative over there. They were able to take these bracelets. They took them apart, and because they were made of rubber bands, they took them apart and actually made a jump rope out of them and started using that as a jump rope. Just shows you how resourceful they are.
Lastly, our DAS associates were able to be a part of a big food and supplies handout to local residents impacted by storms and flooding. Even though it was raining, the people there were calm and polite.
And we donated rice and all sorts blankets and all sorts of stuff to the people. We actually had people coming to us when we were outside saying, "Can you help us? Do you have any extras you can give us?"
It was a reminder to me that a positive attitude is half the battle. Because many of those people had come there in the pouring rain just to get this food and were so happy for it and had, such a good positive attitude in spite of the hardships that they had to go through. I think that spoke to me about remaining positive.
An 80-year-old woman who rode a bicycle to the place that we were at to get rice, oil, some cans of milk for an hour. She drove an hour, well, not really drove, but rode a bike an hour to come and get this stuff. And it was just amazing. I mean, you don't see that in our culture.
As we look back on everything we saw and experienced, we can truly say that lives were impacted for eternity, both in the people we met and in our own lives.
Language comes in so many forms. Our words, our hands, our hearts.
I know there was times I wanted to take pictures and I was just so stuck in the moment. And afterwards I'm like, man, that would have been the best picture ever. But you were so stuck in the moment of helping those people out that it didn't matter. A picture didn't matter. Just the memory of helping them out is forever going to be imprinted in my mind.
I want to go back. I want to go anywhere. It doesn't matter. I just want to help. I want to do what I did, wherever I can.
It didn't just sound like a good company to work for, but the fact that they did outreach and stewardship meant a lot to me.
The kids need to know that, they're in a situation of, we're in a home, we got put there, but there's people out there that do love us.
The bonding of the group that we had, going out with people and getting to know them and just strangers that I've never met before was probably the best part of the whole trip.
It's a great feeling. I'm very proud to work here and just do the best that I can and thank them for letting me go.
God definitely had his hand in that and putting us all together. I know Maylin said it was one of the better groups that she's ever taken down there.
The positive attitude is what I got out of the whole thing.
It makes me look at people a lot differently.
It was nice just to help other people.
And this just opened my eyes to let me know that, hey, God is there. Look at what he's done.
They do a wonderful thing. The different orphanages that Brittany's Hope helps, and cares for these kids in other countries. It's amazing.
I feel so many emotions with it, so it's hard sometimes to even express how I feel about this company that I work for and about, just the lives that it touches. And it's more than just a company that sells things. It's more than a company that imports things. It's more than a company that, just provides a job. This company provides so much for so many.
Thank you so much for venturing with me over to Vietnam to help the children and visit a country that is very dear and near to my heart, a country that I was adopted from.